welcome back to the channel. You know what time it is? We're gonna go rank the eras of Thomas and Friends. A really good show, one that I grew up with, and holds a special place in my heart. It's a really good show, even if it's not the best place at the moment. It still holds a special place in my heart because, like, oh man, the memories of watching that show when I was like 4 or 5 or even 6, man, loved it. Alright, I'm not gonna waste your time anymore. Let's get to it. Alright, so the first era on our list is the classic era. It's good. I like it. Love it. A really fresh start to Thomas and Friends. A really fresh start. These guys knew what they were doing. Loved it. Mwah, chef's kiss. And I may not have been born when the classic era was just starting off, but I heard it's pretty good, and it is really, really good. I like what they did before all the CGI crap was a thing, which is actually pretty good, by the way. They did some really good stuff. They were very creative. I loved it. You know what? It's going up in magical, because the stuff they did was magical. Okay, this one, I would say anyway. Alright, so next on the list is the hit era of Thomas and Friends. It's not as great as the classic era, but it is something I grew up with, and I was born right about the time when Thomas and Friends was in its 12th season and was experimenting with CGI. Like, the faces were different, the people and the animals were different, everything was different, except for the models. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's alright. It's not the worst thing I've seen. Little me was into that stuff, I suppose. I don't know. I don't have the greatest memory on Earth, but I won't say it's bad. It's pretty good. It's not bad either. But that's just the season 12. But the rest of the hit era is actually pretty good. The writing could be a bit better, of course, but everything else, the visuals, like, I wouldn't even go as far to say that this was an upgrade of the classic era. However, the writing wasn't quite an upgrade. I think it went. Oh yeah, this was the time when the writing started to go from up here all the way down to not so good. I'll put this in. Put in an average. I mean, the visuals are good. The writing, not so much. Oh, now this next one. I remember growing up watching this stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, the Thomas and Friends Nitrogen era. CGI era. The Nitrogen CGI era of Thomas and Friends. What do I have to say about this? Love the visuals. Mwah. Love them. Like, it's beautiful what they've done. I loved it. It's like they copied and pasted the model era and just made a complete CGI classic out of it. Though the writing was same problem with the hit era. Not as good. Everything else was pretty good though. The characters looked hella fresh. The scenery was hella fresh. The writing was a little bit stale. Not expired milk kind of stale, but not so good. Actually, maybe a bit more stale than expired milk, but the writing was a bit not that really good. You know, I'll chuck this in epic because the visuals were just a pure chef's kiss. The writing, not so much. Oh, here we go. Okay, this is where the writing starts to get a bit better. This is the Brenner era, Brenner CGI era of Thomas and Friends. The writing got much better. The visuals, so did the visuals. I really loved how it looked. Like, yeah, it's. I'm just fumbling my speech. It was that good, so therefore it is going up in magical. The Big World Big Adventures era of Thomas and Friends, ladies and gents. It's good. The writing sort of deteriorated a bit, but I mean, I sort of try to see what they were trying to go with here, trying to put Thomas like across the world. Pretty cool, I'll give him that, but the writing could have been a little bit better, in my opinion. However, the models, like especially in the later part of the Big World Big Adventures era, they sort of had these little like details to the models, and it looked really cool. I love the little details, make them look so much more realistic, and because of that, I'll chuck them. I would put them in the magical tier if the writing was that good, but in this case, it kind of wasn't. I'll put it in epic. This. Oh my freaking goodness. Mattel, you were doing so good. What the hell happened with this one? I think we all know what this is, guys. The All Engines Go era of Thomas and Friends. It is going there. Like, bro, they just went from this beautiful CGI stuff to this piece of crap. And why would you go 2D animation? Why would you do that as a reboot when you already have a beautiful CGI setup? You downgrade it to some 2D bullcrap. Not to mention the characters. They act like Chuggington characters. Okay, let me just explain something quick. So, like 10 years ago, when I was like, well, 10 years younger, well, you get the idea. Anyway, I was growing up with Thomas and Friends. Really good show. It was just basically doing its own thing. Like, the train physics were there. Like, the train's super wild to stop, like how a train should. And the camera angles, some of them got so low, you can like see how massive the engines are. And the little subtle camera shake little thingies, especially that in the nitrogen era, that was really good. I loved it, the effects. They were there. This, nowhere near. Nowhere near. Bro, like, you call that a reboot? Buddy, that you just downgraded from the best CGI to the worst 2D animation. And going back to what he said about saying about Chuggington, I don't have an issue with Chuggington. The animation's pretty good. The trains are a bit bouncy, but I mean that's what Chuggington started off with. They started off with bouncing, continued bouncing all the way to the end. I know they're still making episodes. I don't know, but basically from start to finish, you get what I'm saying. They were doing the bouncy train thing their whole existence, and that's another train show. Of course, it's nowhere near as good as Thomas and Friends, but they did start off with the bouncing and they kept going. That's what made Chuggington work. What made Thomas and Friends work were stunning visuals, with some CGI part of Thomas and Friends, good storytelling. That's what I was saying. Good storytelling, good writing list for the classic era of Thomas and Friends. Yeah, everything was looking good. But then, you see, this is why All Engines Go doesn't work, because it just completely tarnished the show's legacy. It just down to the worst possible piece of crap I've seen. Like, come on, that is, and the writing was just, I mean, no, I'm not gonna talk about that. They didn't start off with this bouncy nonsense like Chuggington that did. That's what really annoyed me, because they didn't continue what the show started off with over 4 decades ago. No, they just completely ruined what was one of the best things on Earth, and they just made it the worst piece of crap I've ever seen. So therefore, that's staying in utter trash, because it is utter trash. Thomas's face looks... not appropriate for this video. Not appropriate, I'm not gonna say. But it is like the worst thing I've ever seen. Okay, not the worst, like not as worse as the Russia and Ukraine war. That's actually really bad, by the way. But you get the idea. All Engines Go, not good. That you call that a reboot? You just, bro. It's like, how do I put this? It's like you make some really good mac and cheese, and then I don't know, you just like let it go stale for a year and it tastes gross. If that made any sense. But All Engines Go, utter trash. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Wow, I can't believe I ended off with such a negative note. Unfortunately, yeah, Mattel wasn't thinking straight when they made this. And I've heard that All Engines Go, they're making a 4th season, it'll be their final season. I'm thinking, thank God they can get rid of this monstrosity and put something else in its place. Like get some really good CGI animation and actually get a reboot out of that. Now, that would have been a cool reboot. Also, I would go as far as say, as All Engines Go, there was a bit of a reboot there. All Engines Go, that's actually a pretty good title for a TV show. Like, that's, especially for Thomas and Friends, that would have been a cool reboot, and if they went, like, with even better CGI. Like, I don't know, stuff like this. Like, CGI. Real life stuff. Advanced animation. That would have been really cool to see, I would have loved it. And even, like, make the model a bit more realistic. But no, they downgraded to the worst 2D animation crap I've ever seen, and it is not that good. Okay, that's enough of me rambling, but thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, smash a like, comment below what you want to see next, subscribe, hit that bell, turn on all notifications. We're so close to 600 subs, guys. We're like 15 subs away. Come on, let's hit that mark, why don't we? Actually, let's see if we can hit 600 subs by the end of this month. Come on, guys. We can do this. We can do this. We can do this, guys. We got this in the bag. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. So, bye.